Hello, everyone. Someday I'll have to figure out an intro. Haven't gotten that far yet. So I was watching the countdown. I'm like, I can't wait 15 more seconds. So yeah. Somebody was saying that they checked their local library so they could read along, and they were shocked how many Scientology books they have. I'm gonna go check my library. You never know. I want to see the Way to Happiness book. They talk about that one a lot. Um, It'd be interesting. And I need to find out where to read the OT levels. People said they've read them. I really want to read those. I might do those next. Ooh, new series. Although this book is very long. So if we ever do OT, it'll either have to be a separate show or it's going to be a while. I think I'd be. Somebody mentioned the other day that they read the OT levels when they were protesting. They said, yeah, I've read all the OT levels. I want to be able to say that. Hi, DJ. Okay, that's fine. Do it. This is a very short chapter. Super, super short. WikiLeaks. No. I have found other websites, um, but I'm still trying to figure out. I think I have to buy a new cord for my printer because there's a whole website, but it's geared towards showing you all the changes in all the literature that David Miscavige made, and it's like just books upon books upon books. It has this one in there too. So, with that, I will check that one out definitely. I want to read the OT levels because I'm just curious. I mean, I know some of it's pretty dang boring and doesn't sound very in depth. I used one document from the WikiLeaks to create a fun fake police. From That sounds like fun. I'm not that good at computers to do that. But I mean, this is super, super short. This is like, I didn't read it ahead of time because there was no reason to. I like to read it with you guys. The only reason I read it ahead of time sometimes is just to figure out what I can leave out that's extra and we don't need. But this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pages. Compared to the last chapter, this is short. Yeah, go ahead, email that to me. I appreciate it. Oh, a fake policy. Oh, that's even better. That's even better. All right. I'm just going to get into this because I know a lot of people are going to watch it. I couldn't remember when Tony's memorial was today. I hope it's after this because if it was going to be during, I was going to cancel. So let me know if they come on. Um, so I think it's later, I hope, in the evening time. Okay, I can't read the book in these, so let's get in. There we go. So this one is, so I'm just going to read the last paragraph or two of the last chapter just for people. So he was talking about the cells in the organism and how the cells keep the memories, the engram memories, and that was a very in-depth chapter, but I'm just going to read the last paragraph so we know where we are. The cells evolved into an organism, and in the evolution created was what? Try that again. The cells evolved into an organism and, in the evolution, created what was once a necessary condition of mind. Man has grown up to a point where he creates now the means of overcoming that evolutionary blunder. Examination of the clear proves he no longer needs it. He is now in a position where he can take an artificial evolutionary step on his own. The bridge has been built across the canyon. So we can see where he got the idea for the bridge. All right, so this is just called The Demons. And demons is in quotation marks. So I'm kind of interested as to why. Alrighty. For a moment, let us leave such scientific things as cells and consider some further aspects of the problem of understanding the human mind. People have been working on problems related to man's behavior for a good many millennia. Hindu, Egyptian, Greek, Roman, and our own philosophers and researchers of the past few hundred years have been struggling against a superabundance of complexity. Know how he likes those big words. Dianetics could be evolved only by the philosophic compartmentation of the problem into its elements and the invention of several dozen yardsticks, such as the introduction of an arbitrary, the law of affinity, the dynamic, the equation of the optimum solution, the laws of the selection of importance, the science of organizing sciences still going, the nullification by comparison of authority to authority, and so forth and so on. Yes, those were all quotation marks. All this is fine matter for a tome on philosophy, but here is Dianetics, which is a science. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. Yes, I should. Sorry, not sorry. Let me read that again. I am underlining that. But here is Dianetics, which is a science. It should be mentioned, however, that one of the first steps taken was not invented but borrowed. Now, he's actually telling us he borrowed something, or did he borrow it? Is he going to get it off? Okay. But borrowed and modified. That was the knowable and unknowable of Herbert Spencer. Absolutism is a fine road to stagnation, and I do not think Spencer meant to be so entirely absolute about his knowable and unknowable. Survive, with exclamation point in bold, is the demarcation point between those things which can be experienced by the senses, our old friend human Locke, and those things which cannot necessarily be known through the senses, but which possibly may be known, but which one does not necessarily need to solve the problem. So, and those things which cannot necessarily be known through the senses. But he just said previously in this book that everything is memory from all of your senses. But what which possibly may be known, but which one does not necessarily need to solve the problem. Let's just keep reading. Amongst those things which one did not necessarily need to know, the Dianetic version of the unknowable, were the realms of mysticism and metaphysics. Many things in the evolution of Dianetics were bypassed solely because they had not yielded solution to anyone else. Neither did the things that he put into the book. He's saying that he didn't put things in this book because there was no solution yielded. So, yet find me the actual scientific testing that they did for half of the stuff we're reading right now. So I think that's funny. Okay. Therefore, mysticism got short shrift, unsympathetic treatment. Okay. So why didn't you just say that? Got short shrift despite the fact that the author studied it, not in the little understood second-hand sources commonly used as authority by some Western mental cults, but in Asia, where a mystic who can't make his astral self get out and run errands for him is strictly a second-rate character indeed. Well aware that there were pieces in this jigsaw puzzle which were orange with yellow spots and purple with carmine stripes, one found it necessary to pick up only those pieces which were germane. Someday, a large number of pieces about structure with the rest will come in, and there will be answers to telepathy. Oh, now we're talking about telepathy. Oh, okay. This is going to get interesting. Oh, I know. Gaslighting himself. I'm pretty sure he was good at that too. Hey, Dusty. Yeah, you haven't missed much. A lot of big words. We're at the beginning. So, he mentioned, okay, so I'm going to start that sentence over. Someday, a large number of pieces about structure with the rest will come in, and there will be answers to telepathy, prescience, and so on and on. Understand that there are a lot of pieces in the construction of a philosophic universe, but none of the mystic pieces were found necessary to the creation of a uniformly applicable and aberration resolving science of mind. That's what he's calling Dianetics. I'm underlining that too. So now he's talked about he's going to cure your physical and mental ills, and he talked about hypnotism, and we read that he figured out how to use it. And now he's talking about telepathy and prescience, but none of the mystic pieces were found necessary to the creation of a uniformly applicable and aberration resolving science of the mind. Science of the mind. Yes. No opinion will be delivered at this stage of Dianetics about ghosts or the Indian rope trick beyond the fact that they are seen to be multicolored pieces and the only ones we want are white. He's talking about the jigsaw puzzle again. Okay. We have most of the white pieces, and it makes a good solid whiteness where there was blackness before. Okay. I'm going to mark that whole paragraph. Imagine then the consternation one must have felt when demons were discovered. Okay, so this chapter is the demons, but it's in quotation marks, demons. So we're trying to figure out why it's in quotation marks. Where demons were discovered. Socrates had a demon, you'll remember. It told him not what to do, but whether or not he had made the right decision. Here we have been pursuing a course in the finite universe, which would have pleased Hume himself for its tenacity to those things which could be sensed, and up popped demons. A thorough examination of a number of subjects, 14, revealed that every one apparently had a demon of some sort. They were randomly selected subjects in various conditions in society. Therefore, the demon aspect was most alarming. However, unlike some of the cults, or schools as they call themselves, or religions as they call themselves. I added that. The temptation to sail off into romantic, inexplicable, and confounding labels was resisted. A bridge had to be built across a canyon, and demons are darn bad girders. He's mentioning the bridge across the canyon again. Not Moody Satan's. I will tell you what's what. Yeah, that's pretty much the whole book. I'm going to tell you what's what, no matter what everyone else has said, no matter what doctors say or scientists say. This is science, and it's going to fix you. And he found it. Hi, Golden Era. Yeah, 5's good. I'll take 5. Oh, we have 9. Diana. Oh, I didn't want to be on during Tony. Ugh. I was trying to look. I couldn't remember the time. I wasn't going to be on. But I'm just going to do it and just let people watch it on the replay. It's a short chapter. Sorry about that, guys. Dang it. I wanted to watch it too. It's done. I didn't know if it was early, afternoon, or evening. I can't remember numbers sometimes. All right. Let's keep going. Let me get some water since I'm done. So, I'm still not understanding why he even brought up Demon Jet. I'm hoping we get there. We got lightning and all the dogs are piled on me. Oh, I know. Yeah, I know, GJ. Me too. That's why if you're in the live. Oh, hi, Rika. I missed you. There you are. If you're in the live and you don't understand something I've read, tell me. Because sometimes I don't. I have to reread it. Because, man, the way he writes, a whole paragraph will literally maybe have one period. It's comma, comma, comma. A lot of quotation marks, a lot of parentheses. So, just let you know, this is quotation marks. This is parentheses. Start, and then I do it again at the finish. Because you're not reading it. So, this should be getting interesting. Alrighty, then. Okay. And I forgot to order that biotin. All right, where were we? Out in the Pacific Islands, Borneo, the Philippines, I had seen quite a bit of demonology at work. Demonology is fascinating stuff. Oh, what I remember now, in case you didn't know, he was kind of friends with Aleister Crowley. If you don't know who he is, ask me. And then a little tidbit that I heard somebody say. So Aleister Crowley gave L. Ron Hubbard a whole bunch of money to go down somewhere and buy boats. I don't remember the reason. And not only did he run off with his money, he ran, or no, not Aleister. Did I say Parsons? Parsons. I got that wrong. So Aleister Crowley's friend, I think, was friends with somebody named Parsons. That was his last name. And he had a girlfriend. I think it was Aleister Crowley or Parsons. I can't remember. But it was Parsons' girlfriend. So one of them gave LRH a bunch of money. And he ran off with the money and Parsons' girlfriend. That's the tidbit that I heard. I may have that. I'll check on it. My Sunday's all right. Oh no, he did not apply the rules of grammar at all. And you can tell he publishes his own work because an editor would have fixed it. Parsons, his cash, and his girlfriend. Okay, thank you, DJ. I knew I remember things, but I can never remember the names and the numbers. Sometimes I have problems with. All right, let's keep going here. So I wonder, because I thought I heard that in World War II, he didn't go anywhere. I don't know his World War II stats. I need to look it up. Because I'm wondering if he did that before or after he was actually in the Navy. Or if he ever went there at all and he just made it up. Who knows? Out in the Pacific Islands, Borneo, the Philippines, I had seen quite a bit of demonology at work. Demonology is fascinating stuff. A demon gets into a person and makes him sick. I can see where this might be going. Or it gets in and talks in lieu of him. Or he goes crazy because he has a demon in him and runs around with the demon shouting. This is demonology in a narrow sense. The shaman, the medicine man, these people deal pretty heavily in demonology. It pays well. It's funny he would say that. But while not skeptical particularly, it had always seemed to me that demons could be explained a little more easily than in terms of ectoplasm or some such insensible material. Oh, so now he's going to tell us what demons are. Because he knows everything, right? Been there, done that, studied it, did scientific research on it. To find demons living in one's civilized fellow countrymen was disturbing, but there they were. At least there were the manifestations which the shaman and medicine man had said were caused by demons. It was found that these demons could be cataloged. There were commanding demons, critical demons, ordinary tell you what to say demons, and demons which stood around and yelled, or demons which simply occluded things and kept them out of sight. These are not all the classes, but they cover the general field of demonology. So now he's an expert in demonology. Ectoplasm. Is it Ghostbusters? Sounds like that's where we're going. If LRH slimed me. I'm sorry, that struck me funny. I was going to say, if the Ghostbusters movie had already come out, I would just say he stole it from there. Okay. Okay. A few experiments with drugged subjects showed that it was possible to set these demons up at will. It was even possible to set up the whole analytical mind as a demon. To set up the whole analytical mind as a demon. So there was something wrong with demonology. With proper ritual, simply by word of mouth, one could make new demons appear in people. So there are no real demons in Dianetics. It is underlined right there. So he underlined that. So there are no real demons in Dianetics. That's underscored in case some mystic runs around telling people that a new science of mind believes in demons. I see. That's a good idea, DJ. Wonder what Chat GPT AI would do as summary of those chapters. Added the question of from where the ideas to the text come from. That's a very good idea. I have Chat GPT, and next chapter I'm going to do that and see what happens. And I might check a few things we've already read too that I'm kind of interested in. That's a good idea. Okay. A Dianetic demon is a parasitic circuit. Remember, he talked about circuits being turned off and on when you're unconscious and stuff like that. It would be interesting. I'm trying to remind people because, it's been a week, maybe 2 weeks since we read some things he talked about. So he talks about the circuits in our brain and that they can get turned off and on by unconsciousness, things like that. So parasitic circuit. It has an action in the mind which approximates another entity than self. It is derived entirely from words contained in engrams. Okay. So demons, a Dianetic demon is a parasitic circuit. It approximates an entity, is derived entirely from words contained in engrams. Okay, so we have demons to engrams. Okay. How this demon gets there is not very hard to understand once you've inspected one close up. Papa, while baby is unconscious, yells at Mama, and she's got to listen to him and nobody else. By God. Okay, that's what he was saying. The baby gets an engram. It is keyed in sometime between babyhood and death, and then there's the demon circuit at work. Oh, very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, add to our list, DJ, for reals. So in one sense, as he compares to programming, it sounds like malicious codes, aka Trojans, viruses, etc. Yeah, that's what he's saying. Yep, that's what he's saying. So he's saying that when you're unconscious and you hear somebody yelling, that's gonna create a demon in your brain. That's just simple. Okay, where are we? And then there's the demon circuit at work. An electronics engineer can set up demons in a radio circuit to his heart's content. In human terms, it is as if one ran a line from the standard banks toward the analyzer. Okay, so the standard banks is in your banks in your brain. Well, he also said you have memory banks in your cells, and the analyzer is just your analytical mind. So between the memory bank, the standard banks, toward the brain, it's supposed to be the same place. Cells, brain. Okay, it's from the cell's brain, maybe. But before it got there, he put in a speaker and a microphone, and then continued the line to the plane of consciousness. Between the speaker and the microphone would be a section of the analyzer, which was an ordinary working section, but compartmented off from the remainder of the analyzer. I need a drawing. Because the analytical mind is the analyzer. So between the memory, the standard banks, and the analyzer, the brain, what we would say, okay, he puts in a speaker and a microphone. Okay, so now he says, I, in quotations, I, on a conscious plane, wants data. It should come straight from the standard bank, compute on a sub-level, and arrive just as data. Not spoken data, just data. With the portion of the analyzer compartmented off, and the speaker microphone installation, and the engram containing the above words, got to listen to me, by God, in chronic restimulation, another thing happens. The I in the upper level attention units wants data. He starts to scan the standard banks with a sublevel. The data comes to him spoken, like a voice inside his head. Oh, he's explaining voices in our heads. Oh. Basically, subconscious use of certain senses while unconscious, such as hearing and sensory inputs. Yeah. Hi, Scooter Mom. Yeah, it's okay. Okay. You're not too far in. You haven't really missed it. He's explaining what demons are, and that they're actually engrams from being unconscious, is pretty much what I've gotten to so far, I think. So an engram becomes what someone else would call a demon. And he's hopefully he'll explain that a little bit more. All right, where were we? Okay, like a voice inside his head. A clear does not have any mental voices. He does not think vocally. He thinks without articulation of his thoughts, and his thoughts are not in voice terms. This will come as a surprise to many people. The listen to me demon is common in the society, which is to say, this engram circulates widely. Oops, sorry. I moved the computer a little bit. You're all right? Okay. So I guess he's saying a clear can't have a demon. Or miniature programs inside a system that are switched on random circuits and let's debugged properly. Yeah, because he's probably gonna, he's gonna tell us how he's gonna fix it. But he's saying here that a clear does not have any mental voices. He does not think vocally, which I think is weird. I think vocally all the time. Sometimes I think in an accent if I hear one. It's weird. But I don't. It doesn't. I can't do accents, but I can think them. It's weird. Maybe I have a demon. Okay. This will come as a surprise to many people. The listen to me demon is common in the society, which is to say, this engram circulates widely. Stay right there and listen to me fixes the engram in present time and fixes the individual in the time of the engram to some extent. After it is keyed in, and from there on, the individual thinks out loud, which is to say, he puts his thoughts into language. This is very slow. The mind thinks out solutions in a clear, at such speed that the word stream of consciousness would be left at the post, the starting gate at a racetrack. Oh. Yes, as he states, he is the master debugger. Yes, he's the only one that knows how to fix this. Even that he only has been bugging people to boredom and boredom. Yes. Oh, I like the little icons there, Scooter Mom. But yeah, we always know he's going to have the solution no matter what. So, all right. Maybe I should have read this first. It's hurting my head. Okay. But I do like to read them with you guys so that if I'm having an issue, maybe you guys can help me figure it out. All right. So we know that he talked a lot about restimulation. Okay. Proving this was very easy. In clearing every case, without exception, one or another of these demons was discovered. Some cases had 3 or 4. Some had 10. Ooh, how much you want to bet these demons are going to become body thetans? Now these go into, oh, you might have this many, you might have 10, I bet it goes into, because this was the precursor to Scientology, and so that would make perfect sense. The demons are going to become the body thetans. Yep, I see where this is going to go. Let's see if we're right. He might not get there here, though. It may be later in other books or teachings or whatever. So some had 10, some had 1. It is safe. It is a safe assumption that almost every aberree contains a demon circuit. So everybody that's messed up is going to have a demon circuit. The type of engram which makes a critical demon is, "You are always criticizing me." There are dozens of such statements contained in engrams, any one of which will make a critical demon, just as any combination of words resulting in a demand to listen and obey orders will make a commanding demon. Now, we remember, what I'm seeing again is what he's saying is wrong with you and what he's saying he's going to fix, he's also going to use to control you. I'm moving the camera. Look away. It looks a little too high. Bugging me. So, we know in the last chapter, he talked about re-stimulating people's traumas, and that's the way that he's controlling people in Sea Org and Scientology. They're constantly on edge. They're constantly nervous. They're constantly afraid. So they're constantly in fight or flight. And that's a way to make them into zombies, and you're able to control them better. But he said it in a lot bigger words. You don't have one faulty program. You have a whole faulty program suite. And just by chance, I can offer you the software service like today's scammers. Yeah, exactly. This was before. This was the 50s when he wrote this. So this was before computers, or he probably would have used those exact analogies. He probably would have used computer programs. Okay. So, just as any combination of words resulting in a demand to listen and obey orders will make a commanding demon. So if he can make engrams, which we consider trauma, then he can make a commanding demon. So if he knows how to do it and he knows how to fix it, he also knows how to make it happen. All these demons are parasitic. That is to say, they take a part of the analyzer and compartment it off. So part of your brain is compartmentalized off and isn't used or ignored or in real life is what I'm talking about. A demon can think only as well as the person's mind can think. There is no extra power, no benefit, all lost. All lost. It is possible to set up the whole computer. Oh, he is using a computer. This was written in 1954. Did he make changes? Because this is a 91 publication. Hold on. I don't want to touch on the chat anymore because I end up hiding some. So let's do it with the mouse. Desensitizing and occupying their thought process. Exactly. Benoit, some People's Temple documentaries. He ran just like LRH, denied sleep, proteins, family, basically made followers mindless. Yeah. Yep. He probably, they all have learned from the same either, or they're just, I can never get sociopath and psychopath right. But one of those, they kind of are born to know this stuff, how to do it. It's like they're born. I know that because my sister is one. And at 2 years old, she was already showing signs. And not joking. I wonder which of his lives he was a Dalek. You must obey. Yeah. Scott, hello. My middle school library was full of Hubbard books. I mean, all of the whole shelf worth. Crazy looking back on it. That's scary. Because what gets me is they want to take religion out of schools. So why are Scientology books allowed? Oh yeah, if you don't know Doctor Who, I knew what that was. I'm a Whovian. I love Doctor Who. But they're just these. They have no emotion. The Daleks. They have no emotion, and their only goal in life is to exterminate anything that's not them, or you must obey. And that's it. They don't say anything else. First computer is 1946. Okay, so he could have studied computers and their basic functions. Okay, thanks. I mean, I knew that they did. I mean, I knew they had them in World War II, but they were very, very, very basic, computers for codes and things. This was in the late 80s. Oh, okay. No Bible, yet LRH books. But in the 80s, I think they still had religious things in the schools. So I can understand. I hope they're out now. You know what? I've got a mission. I'm going to go to the libraries and check and see what's going on. I probably can't get them to take them out of libraries because you're allowed to study anything. But I'm also going to talk to anybody I know around here and start checking the schools. I want to find out if they're using any of the drug stuff. I want to find out, because this is a fairly isolated area. It's a military town. We're an hour from Austin. We're an hour from Waco. So they, may not know anything about it. We're not anywhere near North. When I taught in North Carolina, all classrooms still had Bibles, but not here in PA. Winston, hello. The basic book by LRH Dianetics, The Evolution of Science. He compares the mind with the computer. Yeah, he does a lot. He does the whole time. The initial chapter lays it all out and says that the mind is the best, most powerful computer and never gets anything wrong. If you're getting something wrong, it's just because it's not working right, but the data is still there and it's still stored correctly. And that's what he's going to teach you. When you go clear, you're going to have a perfect computing brain. So in case you hadn't seen that first chapter, he lays it out that way. Yeah, 1955. I was off by a year. Oh, you're in Corpus. Hello. Hi. Hope you're okay from the storms. Paraditology lives south of Houston. Said his power was out for about 2 weeks. Has it been? I could be wrong. I'm terrible at numbers, but I know it was out a very long time. Yeah, many similarities. Eaglewood. Yeah. But yeah. So when I go to Austin to protest, it's 150-mile round trip but I've been doing it so long now, it's no big deal anymore. All right, let's go, because I said this was a short chapter, but it is. And okay, it is fairly compared to the last chapter. We had to split in two because it was too big. Spot on. The whole book is a setup for the it is. Oh, you've got to watch last week. I'm gonna do a standalone video and I'm gonna go over it. But we were as we were reading it, we're seeing him lay out exactly how everyone in Scientology is treated and how he uses that as mind control. It was amazing to read in a book this old. That he knew what he was doing. He knew all along, and he was laying it out as he was going to fix it. This is what's wrong with you, and he's going to fix it. But he doesn't. We all know he doesn't fix it. He just uses that against you, and he uses those things to control you. And now, I mean, I feel we got to the point where we felt even more sorry for those inside, and that they really, I mean, you don't understand how the mind control works until you read that chapter. So if you can find it online, go back and read The Cell in the Organism. And it was really the second half, because that was a very long chapter. And so as soon as I can get my setup better here I want to do it soon. because I think there are even second and third gens or survivors that have gotten out that may not even realize, even going through therapy, aren't realizing the extent of the mind control. So I have a touchscreen laptop, so sometimes when I'm trying to scroll, I touch it, and it like clouds, gets cloudy, and I can't read it. Hold on. I've got computer glasses and I've got reading normal glasses. Okay. But yeah, that's kind of why I want to read it, because he had the Dianetics centers, he's got workbooks with it, DVDs, and this was the biggest way he got people in the first 30 to 40 years of the church. And that was my big why I wanted to read it. Yes, and the one in the UK was more repetitive, sort of not more all-purpose programmable, right? The first computers. We had some serious epiphanies. Yeah, we did. Scientology was created by an intelligence agency experimenting with MK Ultra, like programming. In my opinion, he was a spook. In other words, you know what? I don't think he was. I don't think he was that great, but I think he studied it. I did OT 3 1982. After I read that material, I left. Good. I think a lot of people that did the OT levels, even if they kept going, I think in their mind, when they read that, in their own mind, they're like, oh, this is horseshit. But they had to stay. They got so coerced, and they were so full in by then, it was hard to get out. Oh, thank you, Winston. Yeah, because I'm a never in. So I think reading it outside looking in is helpful too, because I keep my brain trying to picture the people 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, before the internet, before healthcare was widely available, when it was kept secret and people had a lot of mental illness and things. So I try to put myself in their shoes, but then I'm also reading it as someone that already knows it's horseshit, and but I want to see, how he used it and how his mind worked and how he created this huge organization and controlled people. So, three-pronged there. But cognitive dissonance kept them in. Right. Right. And, I listened to the survivors, Nora, going through therapy, and somebody else said the whole time they were in, they were nervous all the time. And what he explained in the last chapter was keeping someone constantly in turmoil. He said a lot of different words, but this is what we figured, we read. Constant turmoil, putting them in constant trauma, shuts down part of the brain and kind of makes you, he called it as like a zombie-like effect or unconsciousness while awake. It pretty much shuts down part of your brain and you're pliable. I was SP declared 3 times during the 48 month I was in Scientology. Dang. Wow. You were giving them issues. Basically untouchable in courts and never hit for tax evasion. Screams front organization for an intelligence agency to me. I think he's a wannabe. I really don't. Maybe to us, maybe a part of it, because we did look at the Dianetics centers in, I think it was Mexico, and how they were packing boxes of DVDs and how much room there was to possibly move money. They may have tapped him later to help them out and gave them, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. And that may be why they got their tax exempt status back and why they don't help. That's a very, very good insight there. I'm going to keep that in mind. So the same thing that abuse people tend, hold on, it disappeared. But yeah, Scott, I don't think the whole thing was set up by them or for them, but I think it's possible that, when LRH was when he was getting in trouble, or maybe that's how David Miscavige got his power and got the tax exempt, maybe got the tax exemption back, maybe at that time in the 80s, the Cold War and everything was going on. So maybe they needed some money laundering. No, that's yeah, I could see it. Oh, I didn't. I was in. I was on top chat. Oh, I want. I don't think I have that problem here. I should be able to see all the chat. I was thinking that was the problem. Winston, you weren't supposed to be doing that. Yeah, that's what they were telling you. So I'm glad you're out. David Miscavige did a never before done overwhelm operation on the IRS, and then the deal had certain wordings that makes it tough. Basically, many ways to revoke has been tried, but not all. Yeah, it was probably partly both. I mean, I still think it's possible that this, because they still had they had the Dianetics centers in Mexico, I think Central America and stuff, and they were shipping pallets of materials, books and things. And somebody did mention that it was very possible they could have had cash in those pallets because it was a church, so nobody really searched their stuff. So that is an interesting thing. All right. Food for thought. That's the kind of things I like to talk about, so I'm doing it. Okay. Where are we? The commanding demon that you can create. That's where we are. It is possible to set up the whole computer analyzer as a demon circuit and leave I on a tiny and forlorn shelf. So your I, your person, you are on a shelf in your mind. Like I said, because there is no I in Scientology. You're working towards the whole group at all times, unless you have money. This on the surface is a pretty good stunt. Yeah, we know. It makes it possible for the whole analytical mind to work out computations undisturbed and relay the answer to the I. But in practice, it is very bad, for I is the will, the determining force of the organism, the awareness, and very soon I becomes so dependent upon this circuit that the circuit begins to absorb him. Any such circuit to last would have to have pain and be chronic. It would have to be, in short, an engram, which we call trauma since we've been reading the book. So to us, an engram is trauma. So it would have to have pain and be chronic. It would have to be, in short, a trauma. Therefore, it would have to be reductive of the intellect and would victimize the owner by eventually making him ill one way or another. And a lot of times, question, why does it sound like he stole from the script of Tron? Hey, Jen. Never fear, Jen Wow was here. Okay. Where were we? Eventually making him ill. Of all the engram demon circuits found and removed, those which contained a seemingly all-powerful exterior entity which would solve all problems and answer every want, were the most dangerous. As the engram keyed in further and further and was constantly re-stimulated, it eventually made a spineless puppet out of I. And we know everything he's writing in this book, we've figured out, is his instruction manual for how to mind control people into a cult. So I wanted to underline that. Spineless puppet. And that's what we heard him talking about in the last chapter, only a completely different way. All right, so I'm going to reread that sentence. As the engram keyed in further and further and was constantly re-stimulated, and that's how he works in Scientology. He puts them in a traumatic situation and constantly re-stimulates it with all of the abuse and the way they treat each other, and you're not allowed to be kind, and that creates a spineless puppet. So further and further and was constantly re-stimulated, it eventually made a spineless puppet out of I. Because other engrams existed, the sum of the reduction tended toward insanity of a serious sort. If you want a sample, just imagine what you would have to say to a hypnotized person to make him think that he was in the hands of a powerful being who gave him orders, and then imagine this as the phrase spoken when an individual had been knocked unconscious one way or another. There is another full class of demons, the occlusion demons, the demons who shut things off. These are not properly demons because they don't talk. A bona fide demon is one who gives thoughts voice or echoes the spoken word interiorly, or who gives all sorts of complicated advice like a real live voice exteriorly. People who hear voices have exterior vocal demons, circuits which, I gotta read that better. This is in parentheses. People who hear voices have exterior vocal demons, circuits which have tied up their imagination circuits. The occlusion demon doesn't have anything to say. It is what he doesn't permit to be said or done that makes mental derangement. So he goes on. An occlusion demon can exist for a single word. For instance, a child receives an engram or trauma by falling off her bicycle and losing consciousness. A policeman tries to assist her. She is still unconscious but moving and mutters that she can't move. An old engram at work. The officer says cheerfully, "Never say can't." Sometime later, she has a conscious level experience such as another fall, but without injury. We keep mentioning this second necessary step, the lock, because it is the thing old-time mystics thought was causing all the trouble. It is mental anguish. How much mental anguish is there in this cult on a daily basis? It is mental anguish. Now she has difficulty saying can't. Dangerous in any event. What if she had that common engram expression, never say no? Just checking. Okay. Occlusion demons hide things from I. It is as easy for one to mask many words. So an occlusion demon takes certain words and doesn't allow you to say them, or keeps it to yourself. You're not allowed to say it. It sounds a lot like stuff they do in Scientology. The individual having one will then omit these words or alter them or misspell them and make mistakes with them. The demon is not the only reason words get altered, but he is a specific case. An occlusion demon can be of much higher strength and breadth. He can be created with the phrase, don't talk, or never talk back to your elders, or you can't talk here. Who said you could talk? Or you can't say anything bad about LRH, or you can't say anything bad about David Miscavige, or you can't talk against the church. Any of these phrases might produce a stammerer. Other things besides speech can be occluded. Any ability of the mind can be inhibited by a demon specifically designed to obstruct that ability. You can't see will occlude visual recall. You can't hear will occlude audio recall. You can't feel occludes pain and tactile recall. Homonymic stuff, English. That was in parentheses. Any perception can be occluded in recall, and whenever it is occluded in recall, it affects actual perception and the organ of perception as well. You can't see may reduce not only recall, but the actual organic ability of the eyes, as in astigmatism or myopia. Hi, Fluffer. Okay, we're almost done with this chapter, but it's another interesting one. One can imagine with the entire English language, or in other lands with other tongues, any language, susceptible to inclusion within engrams or traumas, just how many abilities of the mind's operation can be occluded. An extremely common one is you can't think. And what is the biggest thing about Scientology that you're not allowed to do? You're not allowed to think about anything. You just do, write reports, report on each other, and do. But you're not allowed to think. You can't think too deeply. You can't think about what you're being told to do. You just do it. I'm telling you, he's laying out the instruction manual for how to be a cult leader. So far now, you has been used in illustrations and examples in order to keep the similarity to hypnotic or drug tests. Actually, sentences which contain I are more destructive. I can't feel anything. I can't think. I can't remember. These and their thousands and thousands of variations, when spoken within the hearing of an unconscious person, are applicable to himself when he gets the engram keyed into circuit. U has several effects. Guys, I got to stretch out my legs. Oh. I'm sitting on my chase in Indian style, and I'm not doing well today. Oh, my hips and my knees. Too old. Oh, that's better. Oh, I'll start out this way next time. It's a lot more comfortable. I don't know why I'm doing that. Okay. So, and we know that he's turned the unconsciousness or the shut off, or a way that he's figured out to shut off parts of the working brain so that you become zombie-like. So that now he's saying that these so-called demon circuits can cause you to not feel anything, not be able to think. All right, you has several effects. The statement "you are no good" to an awake person makes that person feel very angry, perhaps when he has an engram to that effect. Within him, he feels possibly that people think he is no good. He may have a demon that tells him he is no good. and he will dramatize by telling other people that they are no good. Again, all I'm reading here is what he has created in Scientology. I mean, how much do we hear from survivors that they're constantly told they're no good? They're constantly berated. They're constantly written up. They're constantly punished. In every way in the Sea Org, especially, public doesn't get a lot of this, but we know that Sea Org pretty much runs the show. And a lot of the survivors were in Sea Org that had to escape, because you have to escape from Sea Org and staff. And so all I'm seeing here is, again, how he's going to create his cult. So if he has an engram or trauma where he was told he was no good, now he's going to tell others they're no good. So if somebody above him is being told they're no good, shite rolls downhill, right? And that's the exact way Scientology is set up. And it starts with David Miscavige. But LRH wrote the manual. A person who has an engram to the effect that he is sexually sterile, for instance, will tell people that they are sterile. Don't do as I do, do as I say. Kind of like David Miscavige. If he has an engram that says, you are no good, you have to eat with your knife, he may eat with his knife, but he gets excited about people eating with their knives, and he would grow very angry if somebody said he ate with his knife. Thus, there are compulsion demons. Okay. Got a new one. And confusion demons, and so forth and so on. The engram has a command value, or the trauma that he creates in people in Sea Org. There is a power of choice exercised in the reactive mind about which and what engrams will be used. But any engram strongly enough restimulated will come to the surface to be dramatized. And if dramatization is blocked, it will turn on the individual either temporarily or chronically. The literalness of this reactive mind in its interpretation of commands and the literalness of their action within the poor, harassed analytical mind is a strange thing in itself. It is too horrible to be born. Might be interpreted to the effect that a baby was in such bad condition that it had better not be born. Dang. There are thousands of cliches in any language which, when literally taken, mean quite the opposite from what the speaker intends. The reactive engram bank takes them, stores them with pain and emotion and unconsciousness, and with moronic literalness, hands them forth to be law and command to the analytical mind. And right there is how they're controlled. And when the happy little moron who runs the engram bank sees it possible to use up some analytical mind circuits with some of these confounded demons, it is done. And he teaches them how to do it. He teaches it in the training. If you think about the training that we're told about, it's traumatizing. And he's saying that if you traumatize someone enough and then you re-stimulate them enough, you can control them. The analytical mind then can be seen to be subject to yet another form of attrition. Its circuits, ordinarily intended for smooth, rapid computation, become tied up and overloaded with demon lash-ups. The demons are parasites. They are pieces of analytical mind compartmented off and denied to larger computation. It is any wonder that when these demons are deleted, IQ soars, as it can be observed to do in a clear. Add the demon circuits to the shutdown aspect of restimulation, and truth can be seen in the observation that people run on about 1/20th of their mental power. Research and scientific tabulation indicate that with the unconsciousness aspect and the demon circuits deleted from the engram bank and the data restored into the standard bank as experiences where it should be, about 49/15ths of the mind have been placed at the service of I, which he never could use as an aberree. So what we see in those couple of paragraphs, what I'm thinking as I'm reading, is he's showing how in the Sea Org he can control them, staff, whatever, but the public are going to be told, oh, well, now that we can get you clear, your IQ is going to soar and you're going to be this great being and you can fix your dyslexia as long as you move up the bridge, because they don't get the traumatization that this poor Sea Org and staff are getting down below. But if you're a celebrity or you have your money, you bypass all the traumatization. You get some mind control because they get you in the auditing and they get you dependent, and they at least get dirt on you to make you at least stay and keep paying them money, whether you believe or not. I don't think they really care at that point, as long as they can keep the money coming in. So they get all these great things that they're told that they're going to attain, but down here, all of this is, he's using it. And so I asked Nora, because he said early on in the book that when you become clear, even all of your physical ills will be cured. I was in Nora's chat, and she wears glasses, and I believe she made it to clear. And I asked her, how did you rationalize going clear and you still needing glasses? And she said she went like 4 years not wearing glasses because she was clear and her vision was supposed to be fixed, but it wasn't. So, but she's like, but I'm clear, I shouldn't be having to wear glasses. So they rationalize the fact that this doesn't work, but they're told it is, and they're in it, and they're being mind controlled to the point where they don't wear glasses anymore. But they just can't see. They still can't see. So I think Tom Cruise saying that he cured his dyslexia is bull pucky. But in his mind, he has rationalized it away, and somehow, I think what I heard, don't quote me on this, I could be wrong, it was something I read in passing some time ago, that now he doesn't sit and read scripts, that it's possible that someone reads them to him. So he didn't cure his dyslexia, he found a way around it. Is it any wonder that when these demons are deleted, IQ soars, as it can be observed to do in a clear? Add the demon circuits to the shutdown aspect of restimulation, and truth can be seen in the observation that people run on about 1/20th of their mental power. Research and scientific tabulation indicate that with the unconsciousness aspect and the demon circuits deleted from the engram bank and the data restored into the standard bank as experience where it should be, about 49/15ths of the mind have been placed at the service of I, which he never could use as an aberree. So I had to read that again. That's the end of that one. So as a clear, he's saying that as an aberree, you can't only use a part of your brain, but as a clear, you can use. He didn't say all of your brain. I don't know what 49/50 is. I'm not good at math. That was interesting. So the next chapter is psychosomatic illness. Psychosomatic illnesses are those which have a mental origin, but which are nevertheless organic. So he's going to tell you everything that's wrong with 98%. Oh, thank you. So instead of just saying 98% for people, remember when he said he was going to use plain language? Instead of saying 98%, he says 49/50 is. Just to freaking confuse us. So, oof. That one hurt my brain. But the reason I wanted to do this, we're getting, and that's too far away, to find out what he was thinking, what he's doing, why he's doing it, what the people that read it are getting out of it, what's going on. And he's still showing us exactly how to run a cult. The part about curing them and making everything better and going clear, making you a powerful being, that's all bullpucky. So I'm going to end it here, keeping it short. So next week is psychosomatic illnesses. I want to see how many pages that is. Holy crap. We're going to be probably breaking that into 2 chapters. That one I'm going to go ahead and read over and see if there's anything I can cut out. Actually, it's not as bad as that one chapter, but still, it's 123 to 146. It's 23 pages. So, actually, no, 24 pages. All right, guys. I'm going to try to do a members only live this week during the day because I did one late. And I'm going to try to get back out there. Oh, I am. Not going to say. About to say something I was going to go do. Not going to say. Hey, Tiff. No problem. I'll see y'all this week. Oh, Liz Ferris, if you haven't seen, I just watched her update from 30 minutes before I went on. She's in the hospital. She's had 2 pulmonary embolisms in each lung. It's serious. Those are blood clots, and they're trying to. Go check out her update. I'm gonna put her on my prayer list. Thanks, DJ. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Scooter. Golden Era. I hope she keeps us updated. I hope everything's okay with her. So give her some good thoughts. Okay, Minion. I will see you guys another time. I know I'm worried about her too. I'm gonna keep an eye on her account so we can keep up on her condition. It is serious. Good thing she got help in time. She was weak. Much love to her and Carrie. Yeah, I'm glad she's in there. It looks like they said things are looking good, but they're still working on it. Okay, y'all. Have a good week.